So for those who do attend church, which format do you prefer, online or in person? I believe there are pros and cons to each way to attend. The most important thing, though, in my view, is to do one of them, because some way you'll have a connection with God, to engage with His Word, to engage in worship. But let's look at some of the pros and the cons of each. I think that for in-person, there are some, I guess I'll mostly think of the pros, but for in-person, the one of the advantages is that, I think there is the advantage of having influence to better reach souls. And what do I mean? I think that with whatever gifts and abilities God has given each individual to upbuild the kingdom, I think there's an advantage of being in person to exercise those gifts and abilities. For example, if you're a person who is good at smiling to reach people, who's friendly, being able to look at someone in the eye and say, with a genuine, how you doing today? I'm glad to see you here at church, and God bless you. Whatever you're dealing with, we're praying for you. So I think that's an advantage of being in person, to have that personal touch, to engage with others. So that's one of the biggest pros that I can think of. One of the cons, I guess, that I can think of, as opposed to being online, of course, it takes more preparation as far as getting ready and, driving there if you drive, and, the stuff like that. But on the other hand, with online, especially since COVID-19, anybody remember COVID-19? Some people seem to have forgotten about that little disease that took out a lot of people, unfortunately. But since the COVID pandemic, online worship has been a huge option for many churchgoers and worshipers. But one of the pros of that is the flexibility that it allows, to be able to stay at home or wherever a person may be other than the church building to worship. Especially for families with small children that may find it more difficult to be in person, or for parents with special needs children who also may find it difficult to be in person, like children with autism. They may be bothered by the sounds, stuff like that. So it may be beneficial for them to be virtual. But some of the cons are like the being at a disadvantage as far as the in-person, the tangible, one-on-one, engagement with others, like we discussed with the in-person. So that's like one of the cons. You just don't get that full engagement, that personal engagement that you would in person, of course. So just let me know briefly in the comments, which one do you prefer and why? So just something I was thinking about. So so let me know what you think. God bless.